It is a strong thing to say the right words at the perfect moment to the right woman. But here is the thing most people forget. The words are not everything. It is also about how you truly see her when you say them. Many guys just spend their time looking at a woman's appearance, her body shape, her grin, her hair. And while she might give a polite smile in return, she has heard those exact words many, many times from men who never bothered to see anything deeper than her outside look. But your approach is different. You want her to experience something new. You want her to feel actually seen, deeply understood, and completely safe. You want her to feel that her whole heart and her inner self are being recognized, not just her physical presence. That is the kind of praise that sticks with her, the kind that lasts long after the conversation is over, long after you have left. And that is when a woman truly starts to feel affection, not just because of wanting her, but because of a genuine feeling of closeness. If you are tired of being passed over, if you feel like the women you care for never show the same level of interest you put in, this message is for you. Once you figure out how to give a woman praise that connects with her deepest feelings, not just her self-worth, everything will start to shift. The honest fact is, men have been given wrong ideas. You were taught that only being self-assured is enough to win women, that having a lot of money, a great appearance, or being successful would make you very appealing. But consider this question. If those things were truly the key, why are so many tall, rich, and handsome men still not noticed or simply passed by? Here is the real fact. Liking someone is not about logic, it is all about feelings. And the quickest route into a woman's heart is not with expensive presents or smart dating tricks, but by speaking to her emotions. By meeting her need to be recognized in a world that always tells her to keep smiling, to look perfect, to hide her worries, and act like everything is okay. Women start to love men who help them feel secure enough to just exist as they are, men who do not criticize, who do not separate her into small pieces, and who do not see her as a list of points to check off. When you offer an honest piece of praise, one that is not an old, overused line or a joke that shows you don't care, and you say it with your complete focus, she experiences it deep down. Her defenses drop. Her protective outer layer fades, and maybe for the first time in a long while, she lets herself think about what it would be like to be loved with no rules. The type of love where she is completely free. These words of praise are not ways to trick her. They are doors leading to a genuine bond. And when they are said with sincerity, they can wake up a feeling inside her that she may not have known was there. Not every woman is ready to accept this, but the woman who is right for you will always remember the feeling you gave her. So listen closely now, because what you are about to learn can completely change how women react to you from now on. There is a quality that is not valued enough, and that is peace. This is especially true in a world where everyone is hurrying, trying to beat others, trying to prove their worth, trying to look better than others, trying to shout louder just so people will notice them. Being peaceful is becoming very uncommon. So uncommon that people begin to think being confused and troubled is love, or that feeling excited is real passion. But here is the plain fact. If a woman gives you a feeling of calm, if just being near her stops the worried thoughts inside you, if she makes a space feel more secure simply by entering it, do not keep that idea hidden. Tell her this, let her know. You make my life feel more steady and calm. Those words are very important. They are meaningful. This is especially true for a woman who has been fighting secret challenges every single day. She might be smiling, working hard, appearing strong for everyone else, but deep down she is worn out, spread too thin, constantly trying to show that she is good enough. So when a man sees this and says, "Spending time with you makes me feel quiet inside, like I can finally take a deep breath," something major changes within her. She is surprised in a very good way, because most of the nice things she hears are shallow. You look great. You are very attractive. I like your figure. Phrases like these are said over and over until they stop meaning anything. But when a man truly observes her and says that her own spirit brings peace, that changes everything. That is not just simple praise. That is true focus. This shows that you noticed her true inner self, not just what she looks like. That is true closeness. That is being present with your feelings. And for a woman who is only used to being appreciated when she is perfect and acting a certain way for the public, hearing that she brings calm just by being herself creates a deep sense of trust. You stop being a regular guy. You no longer mix in with everyone else. You become a person she cannot forget because you did not simply look at her face or her outfit. You respected her inner self, and that creates a chance for more. It lets her relax, to have faith in you, to open up. Most guys believe that liking someone is only about excitement, about a quick feeling of fire, about fast and intense chemistry. But fire fades away. Peace remains. Peace helps to build a strong base. Peace gives space for love to become strong. And when she understands that just being near her makes you feel quiet inside, she realizes she does not need to keep her walls up so high, because you are not showing up with stress. You are not asking for her attention, her physical presence, or her strength. You are simply there, focused, and not asking for anything back. And she will hold on to that memory, even if it was just for a short time. Even if it was only one talk, she will keep those words with her. She will think about them again on sad days when she feels ignored. She will recall the man who looked at her and saw calm, not just an act. That is the thing that makes her love you. That is what forms a real emotional bond. That is the type of man she will want to stay close to. Not because he impressed her greatly, not because he tried to use tricks, but because he reminded her of who she truly is when all her different parts are set aside. So do not think little of that kind of praise. Do not wait for the perfect chance. If a woman gives you a feeling of calm, tell her. Let her know that being near her makes your world feel easier, that her whole being feels like a safe spot. Because in a world that always expects her to be stronger, improved, and more outgoing, hearing that she is perfectly fine as she is, that she is peace, might be the exact thing she secretly wished to hear. That is how you become special. That is how you truly connect with her. That is how you are remembered. Not just in her thoughts, but in her deepest feelings. Most guys never say these kinds of things, not because they do not feel them, but because they are too focused on the beauty they see right away. Her mouth, her body, her happy look. And of course, there is nothing bad about noticing beauty. But if that is the only thing you ever talk about, you will never get to her inner self, because good looks can grab someone's eye. But it is her thoughts and her deepness that make her impossible to forget. Here is a fact. There are many, many women living their lives in this world hoping for someone to truly see how smart they are. Not in her job, not on a paper that lists her history, but in a very private, feeling way. A woman wants her ideas to be noticed as much as her face is. She wants you to be interested in how she thinks about things, how she feels, and how she links her life stories to her deeper emotions. When you say to her, "The way your thoughts are formed is amazing," you are not just saying a simple phrase. You are respecting her deepness. You are saying, "I understand how you put your thoughts together. I like the way you add important meaning to your words." And for a woman who is used to being judged only on her looks, that feels like a comfort. It tells her she is more than her appearance, that what she says is important, that her ideas encourage you, that you are interested in her thinking, not just her outer look. And this is the wonderful part. When a woman feels that her inner self is truly seen, she starts to shine even more brightly on the outside, because her value seems more solid. You have reached a part of her that most people never do, her secret inner life. And now she sees you in a new light as well, because you are not simply looking at her, you are sharing in her experience. You can see how her eyes shine when she talks about what she cares about. You notice not just the small facts she mentions, but how she puts her stories together, the deep sense she adds to her words. You appreciate how she links her different ideas and how she figures things out in her own specific way. When you tell her, "I truly like the way you think," you are confirming her core self, the side of her that holds her understanding, her ability to imagine, and her deep feelings. That is what causes women to feel attracted, not the actual words, but the care and the focus behind them, because it shows that you were quiet. You were hearing her, you were watching closely. And in a world filled with constant sounds and distractions, giving your full attention is uncommon. Men who do that are hard to find, and that is why she will keep thinking of you long after. It is never truly about the clothes you choose for a date. It is not about the meal you cover the cost of. The most important thing is whether you actually saw her. If you noticed something in the way she spoke and said, "The things you think about are truly amazing," that is the thought she will remember late at night. That is what she will write down later when she is by herself. And here is the true lesson. When you talk to a woman's thinking side, you encourage her to share more, to let you see more of who she is. She begins to believe in you. She starts to feel comfortable. She tells you things she has never spoken to anyone else before. Because at that point, the focus is not on trying to be appealing for you. It is about being truthful with you. That is the definition of a true emotional bond. So, certainly, tell her she is lovely. You should absolutely say that. But also tell her that her thoughts are beautiful, that her way of thinking interests you, that her ideas stay in your mind long after the evening is finished, that her words are remembered inside your heart. In a world full of simple compliments, you become special when you look deeper. When you talk to the spirit that is visible through her eyes, that is when she does not just have a simple liking for you. That is when she genuinely connects with you. And it is from that point of deeper feeling that her attraction slowly changes into a real bond. This particular type of praise gets right to her inner core, because true power is usually something you cannot see. It is the type of power that no one celebrates or applauds, the kind that is created quietly when no one else is present, when no one is paying attention, when there is no prize, no praise, and no cheering. It is the very same power that most women carry around with them every single day without talking about it. And still, almost no one notices it. No one takes the time to truly recognize it until you do. You have so much inner strength, and you don't even need to talk about it. Think about that idea for a minute. You are not praising her for something showy or overdone. You are not pointing out something that is made bigger than it is. You are seeing something that is totally real. That is hard to find because most people never notice the strength it takes for a woman to wake up feeling sad and still put on a smile. To exist in a world that is always telling her to become smaller, yet she still decides to care, to share, to keep having faith. That is what real power is. She might be spending many hours working, looking after her children, running a house, holding on to painful memories, making sure her friends are okay, dealing with her own concerns, carrying the feeling of many years in her heart. And she is doing all of this without asking for any thanks. But you actually see it. And when you tell her that she is strong, not because she makes a display of it, but because she keeps it quiet, that moment becomes very important. Because it is not just praise, it is a way of showing her who she is. It is like holding a glass up that shows her the person she has always been, but might have forgotten. Do you ever think about how many women quietly cry in a private room so no one can hear? How many of them act like they are completely fine just so the people around them do not feel worried? How many women always put the needs of others before their own, not because they want to suffer for others, but because they do not know how to ask for help without being seen as fragile. So when a person appears, whether for a quick chat, a friendly relationship, or something deeper, and sees that deep power and actually speaks about it, he is someone she will never forget. You become the first person who genuinely saw it, who looked past the simple outer layer, who noticed the quiet patience hidden behind her kind look. That is closeness. That is the way people talk to build trust. She might even look very surprised when you say it. Not because she thinks you are lying, but because she has never had those words said to her before. She is so used to continuing through life without being thanked that hearing those words seems almost unbelievable. But deep in her soul, She will always hold on to them because they were based on honesty, based on your full attention. That is the difference between simply liking someone and having a true bond. Any guy can try to chase a woman. Any guy can tell her that she looks good. But it requires a person who is real to see her deepest self, to respect her ability to bounce back, and to say, "You are a strong person." And the fact that you do not make a big deal of it makes it even more impactful. You are showing her that you notice things beyond what she presents to the world. You see who she is even when she is not putting on an act for anyone. That kind of understanding makes her feel safe. It allows her to feel more relaxed when she is near you. It makes her want to talk more, because now she is not just being loved for her power. She is being appreciated for simply being human. So if you ever meet a woman who acts with a quiet kindness, who is careful and patient, who does not complain, yet clearly has many big worries to carry, say something to her. Tell her that you see that in her. Tell her that you respect it, because that might be the exact thing she has been hoping to hear, even if she did not know it herself. And when you speak to that inner power, not to use it, not to try and change it, but simply to give it respect, you become the person she can finally relax with. That is why she will never forget you. This is the type of praise that does not only reach her ears, it goes right to her soul. It remains with her. It stays in her thoughts long after the time has passed. Because for a change, you are not trying to study her. You are not trying to place her into a specific group. You are simply reacting to the feeling of her being there. And in a world that cares too much about looks and being faultless, that kind of honest feeling is uncommon and very attractive. There is a certain quality in a person's spirit that is difficult to put into words. It pulls you toward them. Women are used to being criticized, looked at against others, sized up, and given a score. Since they were young girls, they were taught to control their appearance, their happy faces, their way of acting, to be nice, to be good-looking, to be easy to get along with, but not too loud to be wanted, but not too clear about what they want. Over time, that creates a feeling of protection around her heart. She learns how to be the person that others select, but not always how to be truly connected with. So when a person appears and says that he feels a certain quality from her, not because of her clothes, not because of her makeup, not because of how she walks, but because of the inner force she gives off, a part of her deep self opens up. Because now you are not seeing something she worked to create. You are feeling the force she naturally gives off. It is not about her actions. It is about her actual self. And here is a fact. A lot of women do not even know they are doing this. They do not realize their way of being is so attractive. They are not trying to make it happen. They just exist in their honest way, their quietness, their strength, their gentleness, their smartness. And when you sense that, when it causes a feeling inside you and you speak it out loud, you become a person she will always remember, because it is not fake. It is not a phrase you went over many times. It is genuine. And women can always tell when something is genuine. That one easy thing you say tells her, I am not trying to control you. I am not trying to limit you. I am just paying attention to you. And I feel something I cannot even describe, but it makes me feel closer to you. That kind of realness creates room, a space for feelings, a place for her to be more of who she is without being scared, because now she does not have to act for you. She does not have to ask herself, am I good enough? Am I making him feel impressed? No, she can simply exist. And that is the point when a woman truly grows and looks her best. The force a person gives off is the most honest message a human can send. It cannot be acted out. It cannot be made to look better. It is the silent truth that either brings people nearer or sends them away. And when her inner force pulls you closer, when you feel that special connection between two spirits, say it out loud. Even if you have trouble speaking, even if the words you use are not perfect, just say it anyway, because that kind of deep notice is what makes a woman pay close attention. Not because she is being charmed by tricks, but because she finally feels fully recognized, not for her body, not for her face, but for her true self. It makes a